Hey everybody, it's Cat, and I am in the kitchen today to play around with Baetje Farms Feta cheese. It is delicious. It's actually a farm that's pretty close to where we're based here in St. Louis. They're down in St. Genevieve County, south of St. Louis in the rolling hills of Missouri. And I've had a chance to visit the farm before, and their herd of very happy goats makes delicious milk, which obviously translates into delicious cheese. So today I'm going to make a shakshuka, which is fun to say, easy to make, and is vegetarian, and it really allows this feta, the flavor of this feta, to shine. So let's get cooking. So in my pan, I have a good dose of olive oil and about half of a yellow onion just diced up. I am going to go ahead and dice a green pepper and also cut up a couple of serrano peppers to offer a little bit of heat. A lot of these recipes for shakshuka have been adapted by a variety of cooks. Some versions have fennel, some have yellow or red pepper. It really can be whatever it is that you want. I am taking a very simple approach because I want that feta cheese to really shine through. Smells amazing. I am just going to cook this to the point where these veggies are kind of tender and the onions are translucent. Then I'm going to add in my spices, which are coriander, cumin, and also paprika. It's all very traditional. I'm going to also toss in a little bit of salt, and I'm going to let the spices cook and kind of toast in the oil to express their flavor. Then I'm going to add in my tomatoes. When you do this with your spices, like for example, when I'm making chili, I usually start my chili with bacon, and so I render all the bacon fat, and then I add in all of my chili pepper and paprika and all kind of the wonderful spices that I'm going to be including, because by toasting it like this, you really amp up the resulting flavor. All right, we don't want to burn them, so I'm going to go ahead and put in my tomatoes. So I have my diced tomatoes, and I really love the flavor, the really kind of like sweet, bright flavor of cherry tomatoes. So I'm going to be adding those in as well. I also really love the texture that cherry tomatoes offer as they kind of soften up and start to disintegrate when they're cooked this way. I've added in just a touch of salt, and now I'm going to let these flavors just kind of simmer and mingle and marry for about 15 or so minutes on medium-low heat, because I don't want anything to burn. And while I do that, I'm going to heat up a loaf of bread, because this is the kind of dish that you definitely want to pair with a good crusty piece of bread and some butter or olive oil. The next step is really kind of the only one that has any real skill involved in making this dish. You essentially want to make these little divots in the thickened tomato sauce, and then I'm going to crack individual eggs into these bowls and slip that into the sauce and let that simmer. I'm also going to top it with feta. And just in case you're wondering what makes feta perfect for this particular recipe, feta is typically made with sheep's milk cheese, and sometimes it's made with a combination of sheep and goat, and it's brined. So you'll notice that it's in this wonderful liquid. So this is just a salty brine. So this feta, it's not going to get all melty. It's going to melt a little bit, but it's not a melting cheese. It's more kind of on the dry, crumbly side, which is what makes it perfect for this, because it's going to hold up against the heat of the sauce while the eggs are cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and crack them into the sauce. we're finished. This, you could see in that time lapse, it took, about 5 minutes or so. You want your eggs to be on the runny side, at least I want my eggs to be on the runny side, because that's when all the flavors really get delicious, is when that yolk kind of like mingles with the tomato sauce and you get it on your bread. That's good stuff. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. But this is essentially it. Now I'm going to top it with a little bit of fresh parsley from just outside of my door. Simple, vegetarian, very, very easily adapted to whatever tastes and preferences you have. Shakshuka. Super easy and a great way to highlight the flavor and the texture of this wonderful Baetje Farms Artisan Feta. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you want all of the measurements, if you want specific instructions, just head to wearetastemakers.com. You'll find this in the recipe section. And of course, if you want to get your hands on this cheese along with all of the other wonderful cheeses that Baetje makes, just head to our marketplace. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.